Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Limbus Company. Alrighty. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shadow, why are you broke? First of all, how forthcoming of you. Second of all, I was trying to get an identity. It's a surprise tool that'll help us later. And, you know, whether I was lucky or not, doesn't matter. Because you know what I did get? Me. Yeah, look at that! Herding teddy bear on the one, the only Rodeo. Needless to say, I will gladly take more healing on the team, and just to put it into perspective, this is even more team synergy. Nails, first of all, is just insane to be able to just apply nails. That's kind of crazy. But also, curse. We can apply curse, which then will stack... Wait, hang on. With this curse, which then gets amped up because it already has curse, and then... Dang it. I'm not used to the new menu set, I'm sorry. We also get to, if we hit heads, do curse here as well. And as if that's not good enough, this Faust identity does extra damage depending on the type of negative status effects. But you know what else increases our negative status effect damage? That's right. It's the passive of Hexnail, which makes us deal up to 50% more damage depending on negative effects. So with multiple ways of applying curse, multiple characters who can apply different status effects. I mean, look, Queenie alone can apply Rupture and Sinking. And then we have Bleed, and then we have Tremor, and then we have Sinking, and then we have Tremor and Rupture, then we have Sinking, then we have Rupture and Special Tremor, then we have Burn. Like, there is so many status effects in this team. I'm actually so pleased with the amount of synergy that it has. But not only that, we also now have, and I spent gold boxes for this, Headless Ichthys. It's not tier 4 yet, but it'll do. Basically, this is just a massive heal for Faust, which, I mean, honestly, Faust is probably my #1 most used character. Like, despite everything that I say about her, some of her identities are my absolute favorite. Regret is awesome. I used to use Lobotomy Corp Remnant all the time, although some of the fights are a little bit too difficult for that now. W Corp isn't the best, but still. And the One Who Grips, for a long time, was my favorite identity. So yeah, just wanted to run that by, and there's nothing else that we got of note for later. But with that, we're going to resume our little journey here and do a final checkup. So, like I said, if we end up doing this super fast, we will do some of the next chapter as well, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, wait a minute.
We are almost done with the regular checkup. Finally, we have a chance for you to overcome an adversity based on what you have learned thus far, and for me to prove my hypothesis.
What hypothesis is he talking about?
No need to worry. My hypotheses have never been wrong. Most of the time. This experiment is entirely of my own design and supervision, and I will faithfully follow my own pure curiosities and instincts as a researcher.
Guys, I have a feeling we're not gonna like where this goes.
Now, do you see this monolith here?
Yep, I do. That's a monolith, alright, but...
Ah, don't you worry. My researchers will be the ones to activate the artifact.
Activate the artifact?
Not on you. Relax. I understand that none of you would be willing participants to this experiment.
I swear, if you're gonna force us to distort, saying that we have no right to refuse or anything, I'm gonna... Yeah, hang on. I can't let you do that, even as your assistant. Yes, but, if you must, we are willing to send the weakest sinner among us for... Forget I said that. That was foolish of me to say. Dude, I just imagine that, like, the moment she says it... Sorry, I just saw what he said. The moment she says that, Dante immediately, his head just whips towards her, and she's like, you know what? Never mind. Didn't mean it.
I will be the subject of the experiment myself.
You're going to distort yourself? Am I hearing you right?
Aren't you curious to see what kind of distortion you'd end up becoming? I'm sure this is a question you have all entertained, at least once.
Well, technically 2 of us already know. No, I ain't curious. It ain't a very pleasant experience either.
Stop gritting your teeth like that, assistant. It will have an adverse effect on your long-term dental health.
What if you just end up turning into a Pecatulum? You could end up becoming a Pecatulum. Just another one of the fodder we slaughtered our way through for your tests earlier. You're risking that?
It is indeed a possibility. It would signify nothing more than my very own limitations. Just a mediocre shell. If such an incident comes to pass, these employees will transport me to a containment unit. We even made a bet on what kind of Pecatulum I would turn into.
He bet on Goulet. I bet on Invididae, and her on Pigrite. But how could you...
Think about it like this. If I were to become a Pecatula, it would be akin to losing at a game of chance. Of course, what counts as a loss may depend on what I, at that precise time, consider to be losing. But the mere fact of turning into a Pecatulum relieves me of any value to life.
I'd say he was being too hard on himself, but that felt like too simple an expression to describe his tone.
The company would most likely attempt to transport me to a containment unit, but I disagree with that decision. I would like to ask you to dispose of me on the spot. I am well aware that I'm not the kind of congenial person who earns others' favor at first meeting, if at all. I also don't believe that our brief relationship has been the most amicable kind. Therefore, I see little reason why you would hesitate to cut me down. Of course, sinners with gentle hearts like this young Sinclair here may express certain distaste against this decision. But once I become a Pecatulum, it may as well mean that Hohenheim, the entity, has ceased to be. So I hope no unnecessary emotions like guilt clouds your judgment in killing the Pecatulum, a mere byproduct.
So his goal here is either I distort and gain unlimited power, or I die. Great. I'm so glad that people who work at L-Corp are sane people. But what if something unexpected happens? We're talking about your life here. Don't you have any manuals with backup plans, or...
This is a very simple matter. Nothing more than a coin flip. Heads or tails.
It appears that you are still insisting on your absurd 50-50 theory.
I am a researcher who wishes to humiliate the field of mathematical statistics. Unlike the general lay of the academia, I believe there is a certain romanticism to research. It is much more exciting to run as many tests and gain as many samples as we can than to be stuck behind a desk, poring day and night over books and paper, isn't it? If it's tails, then you may dispose of me immediately, and the employees here will take care of the rest. Don't forget to destroy the key inside that coat pocket and the files inside my cabinets, for example.
Yes, we remember.
If I were to successfully distort, we would be halfway to success. For the first time, I am feeling quite the envy for you all. I wish I could be a witness to my very own distortion.
Huh.
If you've been paying attention to my lectures, perhaps you could even come up with a classification code for my distortion too, going by the standards we have discussed earlier. Not that I have a very high expectation that you would. I've recently come to a realization that people nodding along to my words is not a signifier of comprehension, but instead an expression of societal niceties.
Nods.
Then the manager here will open the entrance to my Dungeon of the Fathoms, and you will progress through the mirror dungeon, as you have always done, when facing a distortion, to reach into its deepest fathoms to face my distortion once again. I wish you the best of luck in your suppression efforts.
Hexasection.
And once you've made it that far, it is likely that you will find me unconscious. Or, if luck would have it, conscious.
Unconscious? Are you sure this is safe?
A degree of case-by-case variance is to be expected. It may take some time for a full recovery, but it will happen, should you succeed.
That reminds me. That's how this bamboo-hatted Kim was brought back as well. Bamboo-hatted Kim! He's recovered?
He is safely contained within our facilities.
It seems they are ready to activate the monolith. I am confident that I, even as a distortion, will be quite the exceptional specimen.
Hang on, just like that? You're not a peccatulum.
Indeed, and I can still hear them. Yes, I remember. I still do.
I know he'll be back, but gosh, this is pretty unnerving. Don't worry, we'll bring him back, no matter what. The manager says that we will bring him back, no matter what.
Sure sounds like a dependable sort, this manager of yours. Very well, please take a look at this.
Is this a note? Did he write us tips on how to do this or something?
He says that all you have to do is read what's on that note in front of his distortion. Apparently it's some kind of a code.
I don't think he'll hear anything but ticking noises from me. Can you read this, Mersault?
It will be done as you commanded.
Mersault nodded, then began to read the words from the note aloud.
Lobotomy Corporation, 5 minutes, potentiality, anticipation, right hand.
The moment Mersault uttered them, the all-too-familiar portal began to appear around Hohenheim's distortion, as though they were a key to a door. Scattering shards of familiar yet alien sights appeared intermittently beyond the shimmering veil. Hohenheim had already entered the portal as we stood there gawking, but we could still hear his voice echoing through the laboratory.
I suppose I'll be forced to share my past here. The past I never wanted to share. The past no one cares to learn about. It is something I must endure for the sake of this experiment. However,
I needn't expose every little detail of it. It's... Wait, are we in his head? Is that a remix of the L-Corp song? Did they remix the song? Or is it just distorted? It's always so fun hearing it again. At some point, I need to do another LobCorp playthrough. You know, funny enough, there's a couple mods I was thinking of using for LobCorp this go around. Now, I realize saying that the last time that I tried to do a LobCorp return, I ended up canceling it a little bit through, mainly because it was still so close to when I had originally finished LobCorp that I still remembered like everything, and so I was kind of just doing like the, oh, I know who these three are, I'll pick this one because it's the easiest, which is pretty boring. Nowadays, though, I don't remember their numbers at all, so I almost think like, I don't know, maybe we'll do a return trip here soon. I have been feeling pretty nostalgic. But that's for a different reason.
it's all in the past now anyway, isn't it?
Hohenheim's Fathoms. We're at the starting point of the Dungeon of the Fathoms. We found ourselves in a room that appears to be a workshop of ego gears. If you have scored below 100% synchronization rate in the aptitude test, take only a single ego from here. An ominous warning sign greets us all, and the same words repeat ceaselessly from the speaker. The sinners all go to take a look, enticed by the sign telling us that we can pick up ego gears here. But what we find there are ego gifts. What? These ain't ego gears, these are them gifts or something, right?
It appears that ego are manifest here, in the shape of ego gifts.
Yeah, we just take them all?
This is a dungeon of the Fathoms. As it differs from the usual mirror dungeons, it is highly advisable that its rules are followed.
What should we do? Take the flaming gauntlet, take the combat boots with spiky bits on them, or take the cleaning solution spray. So, burn, bleed, sinking? Or no, this could be rupture. Maybe it's not bleed. I want rupture. Let's do rupture. This one seems best suited for the situation we're in. We take the spiked combat boots ego gift. It is rupture! Hey! I think bleed could have worked too. Honestly, I think both were safe bets. On Clash win with a base attack skill. Base attack skill that inflicts rupture potency or count against an enemy. Inflict +3 rupture count 2 times per turn per enemy. On hit, if target does not have rupture, coin effects that inflict rupture potency inflict rupture count instead. Max of 4, 2 times per turn per enemy, and for abnormalities, for each part. Base attack skills that inflict rupture potency or count, each skill gains offense level equal to the number of copies of each skill, max of 3. If a skill has 3+ copies, gain 2 additional offense level. Well, that seems real good. That I have never seen that gift in my life, and I would have loved it for some rupture builds. What's going on with them?
Good. It appears that I can censor these with my own will, at least to a degree. Your mission here is to classify my distortion, reach the end of this dungeon of the Fathoms, and bring me back. Your mission, however, does not involve digging into my past.
This is...
It appears that we have a passing familiarity with this place.
You has
What is it that they seek to convey? I don't believe any level of proper communication will be feasible given that you are in a dungeon of the Fathoms.
Well, then do something about it.
I regret to tell you that the setting of this dungeon is out of my hands. Had it been up to me, I would have manifested a place that was much more fascinating than this. Like that library, fabled to have every book in existence.
You used to work for the Lobotomy Corporation?
One of my past careers, yes.
Diplomacy did not seem to be an option here. The censored people brandished their weapons threateningly and stood in our path. Looks like we're gonna have to take them down if we want to make any progress here. It can't be helped. Let's get ready for a fight. Wait, what? Oh, it's one of the warnings. Or no, it's one of the warnings and one of the neutrals. Oh, cool. I like that. Dude, I kind of like his dungeon. You know what? I might not like him, but I sure like his dungeon. What are we up against? Censored. Lobotomy Corp level 3 agent. What do you got? Ew. If the target does not have rupture, clash power +1. On hit, deal 3 rupture and deal 2 SP damage. Oh, so you deal black damage. Gotcha. I think is black the one that deals both? I think it is. On use, if target has 5+ rupture, coin power +1. Inflict +2 rupture count, deal 3 SP damage. +2 rupture count, heal HP equal to damage dealt, max of 20. Ugh! And deal 5 SP damage. I'm guessing that says it's your turn now. On use, coin power +1 for every 3 rupture on target, max of 2. On hit, inflict +3 rupture count. On hit, inflict +2 rupture count. Heal HP. My mic is coming loose. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust it a little bit as I read this. Sorry if it's loud. Heal HP equal to damage dealt, max of 20 at less than 50% health. Reuse the coin once. Interesting. So it's just like Dawn's 2-star identity, the bitey one that I forget the name of. On hit, inflict +2 rupture count, deal 10 SP damage, and heal HP equal to damage dealt up to 20. And guard, gain shield HP for every 5 rupture on target, heal HP equal to the remaining shield. Ugh. On hit, heal 5 HP, 50% chance to inflict 1 bleed. Lantern. Combat start. If this unit is targeted by 2+ units, gain 1 protection, 1 clash power-up, and 1+ coin boost. Ugh! Censored Courage. Oh, good. After attack, if this target is either staggered or defeated, raise this unit's max HP by 20% of the max HP at encounter start, max of 100%. Huh? Censored Justice. If this unit failed to hit with its attack skills, raise minimum and maximum speed values by 1. Oh god, we're getting into Ruina territory now. And gain 3 damage up next turn. Oddly Uncanny Lantern. Combat start, gain 1 fragile for every identity that targeted this unit, max of 5. Combat start, if all the enemies attack this unit, attack weight +1. Gain offense level equal to the number of enemies when this unit heals, heal 5 additional SP. HP, rather. Oh, and it's one of these. We can't even choose who we go for. Oof. Well, that sucks. Let's get depressed. Okay, luckily we're winning clashes for now, and as we get more SP and ideally don't take any damage, we should be able to blow through these fights relatively easily. Okay, I think depression worked. Sure looks like it to me. Alright, now that we're depressed, let's start going for absolute resonance. We go Yeah, big damage. Then we go AoE, and then we get a ton of stacks. Let's do it. Alright, I see a couple clashes. We're not winning. This is a guaranteed stagger. Ooh, we also get a kill. Not bad at all. Unfortunately for you, we got magical girls on our side, buddy. You're only level 3 employees. These are level 5 employees. Actually, you know what? That poses an interesting question. What level? Because they're both VAV, right? Or WoW. What level do you think the magical girls would count as, employee-wise? Like, for example, Dawn and Rodion, right? Would they be level 4 or would they be level 5? Because I think, or no, it goes opposite, right? So would they be level 2? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Either way, this fight's won. We guarantee destroy these guys. Oh yeah, depression hurts. Get it? That sounds really bad. That sounds so bad. We came across a group of researchers passionately poring over various documents. They're having a debate about 2 subjects, emotions and flame.
Regular flames don't seem to hurt the abnormalities very much. So why does this work, I wonder?
Perhaps a greater degree of wrathful emotions opens up the room for the fire's heat to touch abnormalities and distortions, both entities of the unknown. They must have noticed us listening in on their conversation intently. One of them approached us with a glint in their eyes.
Are you the sample who agreed to this experiment? If so, try this on.
In the researcher's hands was what looked like an ignition plug, or a testing machine of sorts. Okay. Sure, let's try it. Oh, none of us have very good odds. We're negative 40, which is about as good as it gets. Here we go. Good enough for me.
Oh, what an interesting reaction. Decent synchronization rate as well.
Maybe the researcher liked what they saw. After scribbling their observations into various papers, the researcher let Rodion go. Rodion took off the gear and presented it before the researcher to return it, but they simply shook their head in response.
The gear seems to fit you perfectly. Take it with you.
Re-ignition plug. Cool. I don't like that she healed SP, but that's fine. Base attack skills that inflict burn count, deal plus 20% damage, and inflict plus one more burn count. Okay, so that's great for Otis. On hit with these skills against enemies with burn or unique burn, inflict 1 defense level down up to 2 times per turn per identity. Identities whose all base attack skills inflict burn potency count, or unique burn at turn start gain offense level equal to the number of surviving turns, except for the turn they join the encounter, max of 5. Interesting. Oh my brother, I just noticed how long this one is. We're in for it. So, how do we know this guy's actually distorted? Probably because we literally saw what he looks like after the device turned on. He doesn't sound any different from his usual self. The sanity degradation due to the distortion effects. Oh, hang on. The sanity degradation due to distortion affects every subject differently.
I mean, yeah, but censoring his own fathoms?
But, Hohenheim, you're in a dungeon of the fathoms. We will see through it with Dante's powers, whether you want to show us or not.
You make a fair assessment. How about this, then? If you are to see them anyway, allow me to save you the trouble and give you a quick rundown instead. Come visit me as soon as you finish watching my tale. This tale began when that man walked into my laboratory. Yes, I had a personal laboratory all to myself. One of the few perks of being an elite researcher.
This guy's just telling the story however he wants to, isn't he?
Aim?
Wait a minute. I think I know who this is. Maybe I know who this is. Do I do the voice preemptively in case it is who I think it is? Yeah, you know what? Why not? We're at the OG LobCorp, right? He's in Malka's floor? Dude, how is he not in Yesod's floor? Are you serious? Alright, whatever. Oh, I haven't done this voice for a hot minute. Give me just a second. It's not gonna sound great. Especially with the new, sound settings. I don't know how this is gonna sound, but whatever. Mr. Hohenheim?
Let me think. I don't quite remember what he looked like. Something like this, perhaps.
I think I think I know exactly who this is. I mean, no, he's part of Malkath. He's part of Malkath's floor. Okay, so maybe it's not. I was thinking it's cheesed.
Whichever is the case, I was planning to censor his appearance anyway.
Hey, wanted to talk to you about something.
Stop. Are you here to express your displeasure with me?
The what now?
If you are, do let me know from the get-go. I had a feeling it was about time this would happen.
3 months.
Not a bad record for working without a workplace conflict. Oh, if this is about quitting, then you would find a much better audience among the human resources team.
No, I mean, I'm just here to thank you for picking me, some dude from the back streets, to work here. I heard it was you who made the hiring decision. I don't know how to put this, but you're the only one who saw my... what's the word? Yeah, my potentiality. You saw something that no one's scared to look into before. Know what I mean?
But it had nothing to do with something so grandiose like his potentiality. A wing does not hire people from the back streets for something so insignificant. While this information has never been publicly available, Lobotomy Corporation's primary criterion was trauma.
Oh, so Sally fits right in. Technically.
Candidates with horrible, insurmountable trauma were often favored by the company.
So I fit right in. No, I'm just... I'm just playing that one.
And in an indirect way, it was only natural that they would begin to favor candidates who originate from the back streets.
Your greetings are acknowledged, Jimmy. Now, feel free to leave my office. I ain't Jimmy. Anyways, I've been meaning to ask, Mr. Hohenheim, why do you always enjoy being alone?
It may come as a surprise to you, but I am very adept at spending my time all on my own. It is one of the hundreds of distinguishing features that set me apart from ordinary men.
Say, don't you need someone to be like your loyal right-hand man?
My right hand is doing just fine, thank you very much.
Do you believe in potentialities, Hohenheim?
What an unrelentingly stubborn employee he was, even in hindsight.
Thanks to you, I do. And I've been thinking, if I keep at it, one day I might even find myself living at large in a nest, changing my world little by little. Kind of like how a thing like me managed to snag a position here at Lobotomy Corporation. So I'm thinking here that I want to stick around in your circle.
To bring about such drastic changes to one's life is in the realm of feasibility for an exceptional researcher like myself, indeed. But you are, like most of the rabble, painfully average in most qualities, and therefore unlikely to be the moving force in that change. I have no faith in universal things like potentiality. I have faith in myself and myself alone. Besides, I am not very partial to mathematical statistics like the probability theory anyway. So I would like you to keep both my right and... I would like to keep both my right and left hands as my own. Have a nice day. Want to know something about me? I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really think about things. Action before deliberation, you get me? Thoughtless and carefree. Possibly the only merit to be found in those who originate from the back streets.
Oh, my fan is so loud.
Or was that a thinly veiled threat of physical assault?
No, I'm talking about the new Abno that just got shipped here. It's a tricky one to manage, I'll tell you what. It reads your mind, screwing up all kinds of strategies or whatever as long as it's based on hard logic. Wanna shoot for the Department of the Year award? Together?
You seem to be rather skilled in the art of transactions.
Yeah, one of the few merits in those who originate from the back streets.
I will admit, I suppose I was overcome by a certain ennui back then. And in hindsight, it was foolish of me to engage in such inane conversations. The remnants of my past come to haunt us. Perhaps it is I whom they truly wish to hurt.
It's finally here, the Department of the Year award.
Indeed, I have finally done it. With some minor assistance from you, of course, and some other employees.
Come on, admit it. Don't you notice that a lot more employees are saying hello, good morning, and what have you to you? Oh, and what have you to you? In the hallways compared to when your reputation was a bit, it's all because I'm just that good of a right-hand man.
I will admit that your intuitive and spontaneous eye was of some assistance when it came to identifying certain observations among abnormalities.
This is the potentiality I was talking about, man. The same thing you saw in me when you decided to get me on board.
Apologies for ruining the moment, but the next few years quickly and busily flew by without much trouble. Of course, we picked up ourselves a few more Department of the Year awards, some promotions, and some collaborative researches. Yet all things must come to an end. The infamous fall of Lobotomy Corporation, for one.
Us.
So I don't suppose you have any trouble hazarding what they're all telling me, even as the words come out fragmented.
You left us.
Nothing but words of endless resentment.
You left us behind.
The fall of the former L Corp.
I remember what Miss Yuri told us. The site crumbled in an instant, trapping the employees in there with the abnormalities. Oh, is this day 50? Or, yeah. Either way, it's around there. What is this sound? The whole structure's quaking. What the heck is...
Initiating site burial in 100 seconds. Any remaining employees must immediately evacuate the structure. Counting down. 95, 94.
Escape pods to surface are here, but there's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes.
I... Listen closely. At the risk of sounding rather callous, I must inform you that the chance of survival in cases of crises such as this is usually granted to a very small minority of those affected. Some, who prioritize the fairness of the procedures, may settle on primitive methods such as drawing lots to see who gets to escape. And in more barbaric groups, a survivor would be decided by none other than the rule of might. However, I am glad to find myself among those who are on the side of intelligence. So I make this argument, a suggestion before you. Compare yourselves, whose sole final purpose in life is clinging to your mediocre office jobs and making good on your debt payments. And me, who has produced several groundbreaking, epochal theses and research results at such an early age, whose life, in your eyes, is of greater worth. Yes, and that is how this tale ends. The compound collapsed 90 seconds later. I left the employees of my department behind and boarded the escape pod elevator and survived.
How could you? Without even a hint of remorse.
Wrath is a hideous emotion. I am here today only because I have always maintained a cold, rational head.
The Elcor branch within Hohenheim's Dungeons of the Fathoms begins to crumble.
It almost appeared as though his heart was crumbling as well.
Well, now that that's over with, I invite you to come face me, the Distortion. And the experiment will come to an end.
But just finding and defeating his Distortion in a fight, I don't think that'll bring him back. I just know it.
I agree. We're still in deep waters here. This can't possibly be all there is to it.
We see the Fey Lantern within the containment unit. A cyan-hued fairy flutters toward the wiry, ancient branches of the tree and softly lands on one of them. The branch seating the fairy sways as though to entice us to get closer to them. Bright, countless yellow eyes glimmer from the shadows beneath its roots. What a beautiful specimen, this Fey Lantern. Have you finished your observations? We've been learning a lot about the abnormality recently. There's still a lot of unknowns, but still. Speaking of which, here's a pop quiz. What ego gift can you get from the Fey Lantern? Huh? Midwinter Nightmare, I believe. Right on the money. You know your Fey Lantern. I've done enough mirror dungeons. But that's not all. Recently, it's been giving out these things, too. Take this with you. I'm just glad to have run into a kindred soul. You receive a bony twig. It seems to have come directly from the Fey Lantern itself. Twigs. Every time Rupture activates 3 times on enemies with Rupture, due to getting hit by allies' attack skills, including Ego, that inflict Rupture potency or count, inflict 2 offense level down on the said enemy next turn. 3 times per turn per enemy, and 4 abnormalities for each part. On kill, with a base attack skill that inflicts Rupture count, inflict the remaining Rupture count on the defeated enemy on a random enemy next turn up to twice. Wow, that seems real good. That seems real good. Huh. Several messy, frantic letters are carved into the wall with knives. I could practically feel the sheer horror and desperation of their writers from the wild letters. Upon close inspection, the deep marks tell a tale written in terror. They're swarming us. The monsters, I hear them. They're breathing. They're going to kill us all. Save me, please. Someone, anyone save me. I don't want to die, please. Fear is what drives men to madness. The monsters are near. I can feel the rumble of their feet. They are coming. There are unfinished sentences written on the wall. Death has carved deep marks between them. Cool. Let's look around some more. Well, we got a few options. Faust needs to hit 2. Alright, she's got it. Cool. Noticing something, Faust points to an area on the wall. There's a small crack between the countless scribbles of letters. I carefully reach my hand into the opening and... aha! I can feel the tip of my fingers brushing against a card. Someone must have hidden it in there. This might come in handy later. All allies are healed to full HP, and Operation Authorization card obtained. During the encounter, when an ally retreats or is defeated, randomly apply 3 offense level up between all identities at next turn start 2 times per turn. When 3+ allies retreat or are defeated, randomly apply 6 offense level between all identities at the next turn start instead, 2 per turn. Turn start. 3 allies with the lowest SP heals 15, 10, and 5 SP each. Does not stack. The numbers apply in the ascending order. Does not activate if the affected units are panicked or corroded. I see. We arrived at the entrance of Hohenheim's laboratory.
This may be my final order to you. Either suppress me and return safe and sound to where you came from, or fail the suppression. Place me in a containment unit, and perhaps we can observe what happens next.
That's when Heathcliff suddenly strode forward. Hohenheim, you still believe in that potentiality? I do. It's what keeps me going. You only hire researchers from the back streets, don't you? I heard from them earlier. They told me that you're a right pompous bloke, but thanks to you, they can continue to research and believe that there might be things in the world that's worth working toward. Oh, is that why he chose Heathcliff? Because it reminded him of his right-hand man? Guess we're not finding out yet. Okay. Well, here we go. Distorted Hohenheim. 2.4k health. What you got? Compression. Unused final power +1 for every 5 poise potency on self. On hit, inflict 2 tremor potency. Inflict on crit. Inflict 3 tremor potency and +2 tremor count. Dismantle. Final power +1 for every 3 poise potency on self, max of 5. On hit, inflict 3 tremor potency. Hit after clash win, inflict 3 tremor count. On crit, trigger tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. Hang on. Ugh. I'm adjusting to my seat. Conduct analysis. At 10+ poise potency, consume poise potency to gain +2 final power for every 3 poise potency consumed. Max of 4. Oh my god. Unbreakable coin. If target has 5+ tremor count, trigger tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1. Hit after clash win, inflict 5 tremor potency and +3 tremor count. On crit, trigger tremor burst twice. Then reduce target's tremor count by 2. This fight's gonna suck for Faust. Trigger extinction sequence. Oh, good. On use, consume half of poise potency and count on self. Gain sum of consumed poise potency and count by 2 final power up to 20. Deal bonus damage up to 50%. Deal extra crit damage. Reduce remaining poise count by half on clash lose. Unbreakable coin. If user took no HP damage last turn, guarantee a crit. If user took HP damage last turn, does not crit, instead deals 80% less damage, but on crit triggers Tremor Burst 3 times, then reduces Tremor count by 3. Contemplation. On use, find a power +1 for pose potency on self up to 5. On use, gain 4 poise potency. If this unit has a shield, gain +2 poise count as well. Oh boy. Encounter start. Apply 1 subject of observation on all enemies. Then, gain poise potency and count equal to the number of units with subject of observation. Oh my god. Max of 30. Turn start. Gain 3 stacks starting from the turn after this unit gain this effect. Gain 1 stack after this unit takes or deals damage with an attack skill. Lovely. Take plus stack times 4% damage from enemies. We're gonna get one shot later in this fight. Deal more damage, but on hit, take stack by 2% of damage dealt as HP damage. Oh, good. For every 10 subject of observation on the target, inflict +1 more tremor potency and count with this unit skills, max of 3. Establish hypothesis. On turn 3, gains a new pattern and prepares to use a powerful skill. After turn 3 is over, the above effect activates when this unit has 30 plus poise count at turn end. If this unit did not take any HP damage during the preparation period before using the powerful skill, greatly enhance the skill, does not count damages taken by shield HP. Ugh. Adaptation. Gain 1 poise potency every time this unit inflicts damage with an attack skill, effect up to 15 per turn. If the target has 15 plus subject of observation, gain an additional poise potency with every hit. Gain +1 poise count every time the unit takes damage from enemy's attack skill. Maladaptation. When weakened due to a choice event. Oh, I think I remember this now. Right, so this gets... Right, okay. Right. We get the choice to debuff one of them later. I remember now. Because this was an event quite some time ago. Defense mechanism. Turn start, gain shield equal to 30% of missing HP. Shield HP cannot exceed 15% of max HP. If this unit has burn, lose burn count times 1.5% shield HP. And also takes 100% bonus damage from rupture effects. Turn end, if the shield gain due to this effect is destroyed, for the rest of the encounter, gain 1 defense level down for every instance the shield has been destroyed, up to 5. Confirmation bias. Siphon 10 SP from targets with higher SP than this unit, max of 3, in descending order of SP, cannot stack on the same target. Doesn't work if he's panicked. And then self-doubt replaces it. If he's panicked, reset to 0, and you can't change his panic. Sanity! Anguish! SP efficiency down, and SP efficiency down, huh? Okay, well, now that we've read through all that, how are we gonna do this? Not easily, that's how. Okay. Let's start simple. I'm just gonna open up with Crow Eye. That does still allow us to do some of the things I still want to do as well. So, I'm just going to lower your efficiency. Okay, that still leaves us with some options. That's good. I'm going to get ourselves ready to go. We'll just go for the dominating so you take more damage. I'm going to go for a clash counter. That way we can get a sword stuck in us. I'm just gonna go for a regular guard and just eat the damage. Ooh, and we don't have another light blue. Dang, so we're not gonna get the shield though. Okay, in that case, I am just gonna go for it. If we lose a clash, that's ideal, but if we don't, whatever. And then Faust, you're gonna go for the shield. Not a super perfect turn, but it'll do. We're all but guaranteed to win every single clash this turn, and then we're also going to be a bit faster next turn. Red Eyes, that slows him down. We also get a little buff depending on the amount of bind. Chop. 26 damage, not bad. Gotta remember though, depending on his missing max HP, he will gain a shield. Although, we do inflict a lot of rupture. we get a sword stuck in us at the end of the turn. Tiny bit of tremor on you. And you're also debuffed next turn. Okay. So there's his shield. Okay. What's the best way to do this? We definitely go for the shield this turn on Ishmael. I'm honestly just gonna roll it and do as much damage as possible. We are dominating with most of these, which is kind of to be expected. Let's debuff him again next turn, and then let's just soak this hit on Ishmael. This is an unbreakable coin, so unfortunately it is still just going to do damage. Okay, we break his shield, so that is a permanent 1 defense down. Okay, good damage. Yeah, so, by the way, I just want to say, big thanks to #1 Hong Lu Simp for telling me that Depression Rodion is just inherently better than playing her with positive SP, because, wow. That's fine. Shield doesn't break. We also gain a shield because of our passive. Very, very good. Now we just need to maximize damage as much as possible. I'm almost tempted to use Magical Girl here, I gotta be honest. I think I'm going to. Yep, I am absolutely going to. Then I'm also going to apply some Curse. I don't want to use this. We don't have enough sinking, honestly. Yeah, this should be good. Let's do it. Arcana Slave. Now, I know what you're thinking. 71 damage isn't a lot, but think of the passives that are now in effect. That is where it gets important. Oh, and would you look at that? We're going to be doing extra damage. By the way, that defense level down counts as an extra 10% for Faust. A little bit of sinking. Okay, we are still getting through his shields too, so that means he's not getting his bonuses, at least not yet. Okay, this is where we gotta be scared, I think. Plus 2,600% more damage. Yeah, that seems reasonable. We're neutral? Are you serious? Oh my goodness. The only one who has a chance to win is Rodion. Okie dokie. Well, Rodion, do work your magic. Just do as much damage as you can. Oh, we actually almost broke the shield. We will break it from this attack, though. Completely reasonable damage, 241, but... oh, he deals just about as much. Okay, now we're gonna put all that sinking and butterflies to use. Big damage. 179. Tiny bit of tremor on him.
What plagues your mind, manager? Your suppression efforts seem to be smooth sailing. It is exactly as you have seen, manager. Save for a few parts that were censored, I concealed nothing from your view. I don't believe I have committed any wrong by escaping that place alone, leaving the others to be buried there. Ah, of course. It may be reprehensible from a moral standpoint, but why would anyone ever look at it from that perspective, manager? Especially when you are well aware that in the city, such a perspective is entirely irrelevant and worthless.
I can feel his gaze on me. Like he said, the suppression is going well, but this feels wrong. That it shouldn't end like this. What should I tell him? What is Hohenheim trying to hide from us? Yeah, I'd like to debuff defense mechanism, please. Faust relayed my words to Hohenheim.
Running away. An interesting point. But allow me to retort. My choice was not to run away. To deny and evade what has happened is too pathological a choice, isn't it? I am very well aware that the only way to solve a problem is to face it head on, which is another aspect of myself that sets me apart from the common man. When an issue arises, or in very rare cases, were I to find myself in a tumult of emotional nature, I first attempt to establish a logical explanation. I reconstruct what was perceived and regulate my emotions. Expressing fury and anger is a plain waste of resources. But I must admit one thing. Now that I have conducted some level of cold introspection, I will admit that it wasn't entirely mature of me to censor so much of my fathoms. Of course, this did not mean that I will now remove the censored memories. My ego is not so feeble as to be shaken by a few words.
I didn't really understand most of what Hohenheim was talking about, but I can't shake this thought that everything he's been saying was just an effort to distance himself from his own emotions. Well, doesn't matter. Either way, we debuff him. Okay. Alright. We gotta win some clashes. So, we are dominating here, so I'm just gonna let it ride. Dominating here, we don't have enough blue, so I'm just gonna ignore it. We go red, red, and then just deal a bit of damage here, deal a bit of sinking. Good enough for me. Okay, takes 10% more next turn. Ugh. I don't think, none of us got staggered from that, luckily. Rodeon's still dealing a normal amount of damage. Faust coming in with just as much. I told you. Look, dude, Hexnail adds up fast in this team. That's why it's so good. Okay, we are about to get him to a stagger, which is going to help us a lot. We've actually gotten him below half health. And because we debuffed his defense mechanism straight away, he's not gaining much resistance in turn. We can get our shield up this turn, so I think we're going to. Oh, struggling, really. We're favored here. I guess his passive is kicking into effect pretty hard, huh? Let's see, dominating. We don't have our real big move yet, so for now, we just continue as normal. And I think now we're going to get the second half of Red Eyes going. We're a little bit too high SP on Rodeon right now. Worst case though, we'll do a Clash Guard, and that should put us right back to where we want it. We'll also only be at 2 swords, which is really, really good. A little bit more Tremor on him and ourself. Luckily, he hasn't been able to Tremor burst us too terribly bad. And because he's slowed, 56 damage is done. Okay, this shouldn't go through. I think it did. Well, that sucks. Alright, he's going for the Giga Play. So what we do is we maximize our damage. As much as possible, at least. Let's see, we go Envy, and then we go big Tremor Burst. We might get a stagger before he's even able to resist it all, actually. That's best case scenario, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Also, the flat damage we're taking just from attacking him, I'm not 100% sure what that's coming from, but either way, it hurts. Triple heads at negative 24. That sucks, but we do get a stagger at 270 damage. Okay, he doesn't get to use his Giga move, at least not yet. I'm gonna let everyone do their thing. Looking at the abilities, that seems fine. You know what? Nah, that will do more damage. Okay. Yeah, do your thing. You know what? We might even kill him. This might take him out. Yeah, I did.
Escape pods to the surface are here, but there's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes.
Oh, there he is.
Look, I don't actually believe you hired me because you saw my potential or something like that. But I want to believe that you found the hope and potentialities because of me. The hope and anticipation that we can make things better as long as we keep at it. I can't leave you all behind. I can't just save my skin not without everyone. This is what a right-hand man does, isn't it? Take my potentiality you found and rise. Take it with you to the surface. But you, Johan, what about you? Well, maybe next time. Some other time.
Wrath is a hideous emotion. That is why I did nothing at the entrance of that branch. Only remembering. Nothing more. Remembering the ones I've left behind.
I could sense the dungeon of the Fathom slowly beginning to close. Sometime later, okay, sometime later, moving on. Okay. Dude, this chapter's all over the place, man. Oh my god, this chapter is just all over. Just when I'm finally starting to get into Hohenheim's backstory. Oh, sometime later. What? Ugh. God dang, bro. I was literally just starting to get into it. It's like, okay, he feels a lot of regret. Okay, we're getting somewhere. That's why he's so cold and calculated, is because his peers basically pushed him out. And, you know, they were like, oh, we gotta save you. You're the brilliant one. Forget about us. Just go. And it's like, you know, it turned him into this cold, heartless, da-da-da-da-da, all research. We had like 2 seconds. Bro. Oh, God, this chapter's just all over the place. This whole chapter just feels so weirdly written. Like, okay, I know we're not done with it yet. Maybe it still has some potential, but this chapter, all the writing just in this chapter just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, at first I thought, okay, our emotions are being toyed with. It's being portrayed as a game. He's clearly preying on our emotions. Okay, yeah, all right. Some benefit of the doubt. But it's just getting worse. Like, there's good aspects to it. I'm not saying that it's like the worst chapter I've ever played, but the writing in this one just feels so off. Like, this almost feels like, this particular chapter was literally just like guys, we need to fill up time. Hey, little Jimmy, can you write us up a chapter? Just use these characters. Just go ham. Do whatever you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't feel in line with the rest of the game's writing, which, you know, I'm not saying it's perfect all the time, but it certainly isn't this level. This level feels very off. Either way.
I've returned, safe and sound. Welcome back, boss. To be frank, I once wished to be someone like yourself, Heathcliff.
What are you talking about? We don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff.
Because it's not easy to put my faith in games of numbers, but in those slimmest potentialities of the world, and continue to exist. I know it's not very befitting a researcher to do so, but it is quite the romantic attitude for a human to embody, is it not? Well, the experiment is over. It was
a huge success. Thanks to all thanks to us, right?
No, it was a failure. I had established this hypothesis that the sole answer was to hold a firm belief in the self and nothing else. Had my hypothesis been correct, I would have remained a distortion. Thus, I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you. Thank you for making me fail. It seems that the classification for my distortion was HE5SU. Disappointingly mediocre, but I don't suppose it can be helped. This world is a place where we must find a ray of potentiality among the mediocre, after all.
Let us move on now. Mephistopheles is prepared to depart.
Hohenheim's researchers waved at us.
We'll meet again, right? Ew, no thank you.
I'm with Ishmael. Ew, no thank you.
Everything has an end, so do consider this to be our final meeting.
Down to the last exchange, this guy. The last thing we saw before the portal activated were the LCE researchers pushing up their glasses in our general direction. Though I'd only taken a step or two, the entire world around us seemed to transform, landing us back inside the transportation instrument. The safest place in the world. Now that I think about it, we didn't even get to learn why Gregor's bones made those cracking noises. All we learned from this experience is that the sinners have all become mediocre, but they each held certain potentialities within themselves. Each of us mulling over the events at the LCE, we returned to the bus where Charon and Virgilius were waiting for us. And that's the end of that chapter. Well, Hohenheim said it best, I think. Disappointingly mediocre. That chapter was not very good. I like the creativeness. Like, okay. For example, I like that it effectively forces you to use every character when, in my case, I don't really have every character power level. So, I like that it sort of forces you out of your comfort zone. It quite literally is a checkup to make sure that everyone is leveled. And as you know, one of those was a lot harder than the others. I like the bonuses, the bonus quests, where it's like, oh, don't take more than 3 hits, or, oh, complete this in 8 turns, or, you know, the bonuses were cool. Forcing you out of your comfort zone was also very cool. The story in this one was not great, though, in my opinion. I really feel like this was just handed off to someone else to write. It doesn't feel in line with a lot of the other writing, and like I mentioned, the writing isn't always perfect. There are some gaps. I mean, even in my favorite chapter, Heathcliff's, I feel like there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense at some points, but even then, it's usually like a minor thing that doesn't usually matter too much. Like, spoilers if you don't know about Heathcliff's chapter 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't understand how the Nelly thing, where I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's an example of like where the writing gets a little iffy, but that might even just be me. Either way, though, I definitely don't think that this chapter rates very highly. I'll pull up my my new and improved tier list here and show you exactly where it's at. But yeah, this chapter wasn't my favorite, although it did have a lot of cool stuff. It definitely didn't feel... You know what? Hohenheim really did say it best. Disappointingly mediocre. And with that, I believe that's gonna do it for this episode of
The Limbus Company.
All things considered, we did end up getting a fair bit of progress. Debatably, we could dip into the next section. We could dip into the next chapter as well, but I think about an hour's length is probably good enough, especially because I'm trying to stockpile videos for something. And I won't allude further on that for now. But I did end up using the audio settings again for this episode, so once again, let me know what you thought. I am thinking that after the second round, I'll probably have a little bit more feedback and a feel of it myself. So either we keep it from this point forward, or we don't. This is officially the end of the testing phase. Maybe a little bit of adjustments need to be done, but still. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I will see you
In the next one.
Bye.